Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to the 13th season of What if Naruto was ignored by his family and made a contract with the KITSUNE'S? As always, remember that if you want to see more seasons of this fanfic, just let me know with a like, comment and subscription. So now then, enjoy!
30. Team 12 return. First mission. It had been a following 2 weeks since Naruto had returned from his wonderful training trip with the foxes and things have been slow going. Since he returned, he and his team had just been doing some team exercises and training to pass the time. Anko kept requesting missions, but the Hokage said that they didn't have anything above C rank and Anko didn't want a C rank for her and her new powerful team. It would be too easy and Naruto and Sayori agreed with her. They were well above some meek C rank mission, since each one of them can do the mission solo, especially Naruto. Truthfully, Naruto can handle any mission alone now, but he didn't want to lie. He wanted to go on a mission with his old team and he doubted he had to use all of his strength to watch over himself and everyone cause the girls are capable now, but that's the thing that sucks ass. They were all too good that just any mission isn't good enough. They needed something that would challenge them. Minato told them that they couldn't expect to take a heavy mission on their first mission back into the fold, but they were not about to take a D rank mission where they're painting fences or a C rank where they're just delivering a scroll. She wanted something badass. Minato had to sigh and he agreed, saying that he'd call her team if they get a high-ranking mission. He just didn't want her to go and trash his office looking for one. Naruto saw it on his face. While he was Hokage, there were some of his shinobi who weren't mentally and morally right, and Anko was one of them. Normally, that would mean they need to boot Anko from the program, but Anko is a dangerous individual, with or without her shinobi license and a person he didn't want on his enemy list. She's just as unpredictable as he was. And even he wasn't as sadistic as she was, so that just proved how dangerous she was when provoked. So they waited for 2 weeks for a good mission and decided to train together instead to get their team bondage back, which led to today, where Naruto was in his bed, sleeping with Kichiro on top of his belly curled up as the two slept. Kichiro would jump out the seal whenever he and Naruto are in their own space or a private space with other who knew of the fox's new appearance. Back then, Kichiro could roam the village with little precaution cause even though he was a fox, he was just an ordinary fox to others with a birth defect of an extra tail, so he'd just get a stink eye but nothing more than that. Now that he has 7 extra tails, it'll be a little harder to explain that he's not QB reincarnated. So now he's got to stay out of sight in public. But when he's alone with Naruto, he can pop out whenever he pleases to get the fresh air he deserves. So the two were sleeping in the bed, not paying the outside world any attention, and because of that, they didn't notice the person sneaking in his room. Kichiro, though, since his strong nose picked up a new scent in the room, he opened one tired eye. The person who was sneaking in raised her finger to her mouth to shush the fox. As soon as she got close to Naruto's sleeping form, she hovered over him. "Heya, Naruto-kun. Oh, brownies." As he jumped up in fear, his face smashed into his intruder, their lips smashing together. Naruto looked at his intruder to see it was his Uchiha mate. Kichiro saw her untie her katana and jump on to Naruto's lap. "Ugh, gross, I'm gonna Haku's room. Sick freaks. I'm right here, too." As the fox jumped off the bed and left, leaving Naruto and Sayori making out. She rubbed his bare chest since Naruto slept without a shirt and just shorts. Naruto just grabbed her waist as he slowly moved downwards as he heard Sayori's moans. Sayori flowed her hands through his golden locks, her getting even more turned on the second. Naruto just gripped her tighter, pulling her even closer to him to the point where their bodies are touching and grinding on one another. "Whoa!" Haku yelled as he walked out in the hall, though he saw through Naruto's room as his door was open. The Kitsune and Uchiha stopped their make-out session in surprise. Haku came out while Kichiro walked out. "I know. Sick. I would never do something like that," Kichiro said as he walked to the kitchen. Both Naruto and Sayori blushed heavily. "Damn it! Haku, you fucking pervert. Don't look. I bet you have a hard-on right now, you idiot," Naruto shouted at him. Haku blushed. Shut the fuck up. I haven't seen Yakumo in a week. You bastard stole my girlfriend from me. Fuck you, Naruto." Naruto threw Sayori on the bed as he charged at Haku. "No, you. Fuwa kuk you." As Naruto tackled him to the ground, The two were wrestling on the floor. One was trying strangling the next in hopes of making his eyes pop out of his skull like daisies, and the other was trying to tear his legs off with the walls of Jericho. Each move was switched between the two, and Sayori frowned. "Are you boys done?" The boys didn't hear her though, as Naruto was about to do the bat breaker on Haku. Sayori sighed as her hand started to spark electricity. "Idiots!" She touched Naruto's shoulder, and then came the lightning that struck both Naruto and Haku. The both of them just fell to the floor from such intense voltage. While Sayori stepped over Naruto, looking down at him. "Come on, I was sent to come get you. We have a mission today. A good one this time. So hurry up, get dressed. I'll wait for you in the living room." With a peck on his cheek, she headed to the living area of the apartment, leaving Naruto and Haku on the ground. J jerk. B bitch. A half hour later, we see Naruto and Sayori flicker into the Hokage office with Naruto fully dressed. He had changed his outfit now, since he was back home now and had more options to go through since his old outfit he outgrew. Naruto had wore a black jacket with black flames on the bottom of it, with an orange shirt underneath it with black boots and pants. He also wore fingerless black gloves while donning a orange Konoha headband. He had his sword strapped to his right hip, taking on the appearance that he was right-handed, though really he was dual-handed, as should all shinobi be, but that are for those who are skilled with a blade. Naruto smiled at the Hokage's face. "Well, what's the mission, Hokage-sama? Better be good. Not a threat from me, by the way. I'm telling you it better for your sake, since you know who." Minato turned his head to see Anko with a shiny and sharpened kunai in her hands, licking it while watching the village leader. The ominous chakra filled the room. The Hokage had guards stationed in there, but they were also hesitant in stepping in to save their Kage. Was it worth it? Why yes. I have a mission for you all. A BBB ranked one. Yakumo, Sayori, and Naruto turned their heads to Anko, who blankly looked at Minato, who was inwardly shitting bricks. Did he fuck up? Did she want something even higher? Was she trying to get the team killed? Well, I doubt Naruto will die, and I'm sure Sayori and Yakumo can handle themselves as well as Anko, but shit. You never know in this line of work. Cool, we'll take it. Listen, Anko. You can't request a higher psycho bitch says what? All the chunin in the team laughed at Minato's slip-up, while Anko, with a tick mark on her head, responds. I said we'll take it. It's not too bad for our fist mission. This is what rank I originally wanted for my grown gakis. Though we can probably handle an A rank or even possibly an S rank thanks to our team's abilities. Mostly Naruto's, but why push our luck, you know? We'll take it. Minato sighed in relief. He's glad he got the reasonable Anko today. Hungover Anko would do as well, since she just wants her shift to be over, so she takes anything that doesn't require her to do anything crazy, though she's a bit more agitated, due to her being hungover. Regular Anko would just be, well, Anko normally. Reasonable Anko would be like how she was acting now when she had other people's lives best 8 DSS her on the line, which makes it easier to sway her thinking every now and again. Well, here's your mission. Your mission is to protect the Rikoku village from rogue shinobi. The Howling Wolf village? Wasn't that a hidden village? Sayori asked. Yes, they were, but after a development of a new tool to fend off enemy villages, the people of Rikoku decided to cancel their shinobi services and in turn, become a regular village. And I'm taking that the rouge shinobi that we're tasked to deal with are former shinobi of this village? Naruto asked, which Minato nodded. Correct. They thought it best to force the village into reopening their shinobi program again by attacking the village leader and the village itself. Since they are from the village, they possess the same kind of tool that is used to fend off enemy attackers, so village thought it best to receive help from an outside source. Meaning us, Konohagakure? Yakumo asked, which Minato smiled. The one and only. They are scheduled to attack in weeks' time, and it takes about 2 or 3 days to get there, so you best be on your way. Anko, here's the scroll. On with you. Right? The team yelled as they all exited the office with a body flicker, leaving Minato with flying paperwork, now all disorganized. Oh, fuck this, he said as he, too, left the office to stroll Konoha, leaving behind a shadow clone to pick up the pieces of paper, but the clone just glared at Minato. Fucking bitch. It mutters before just sucking it up, picking up the paper and organizing them. By the gate, Team 12 had sighed out from the village and were off in a few minutes. As they traveled, Anko laughed. Ah, this feels amazing. Leaving on a mission with my favorite gakis in the world. Isn't life swell? Anko-sensei. We're the only gakis you know, Sayori said with a small smirk that edged across her face with a soft chuckle coming from Naruto. Anko twisted her head to smile sadistically at Naruto. Is that laugh I hear coming from you, Naruto-kun? She said. Why am I getting pressed? She's the one who said it. Naruto panicked a bit. It doesn't matter. I turned my head and saw you first, so I called you out. Anko shouted back. The other girls just laughed at Naruto and Anko's back and forth with one another. Maybe it was because they're similar that Naruto usually gets attacked like this. After a couple of moments in silence, the Kurama girl spoke up. Hey, sensei? I was thinking back in the Hokage's office when we were talking about the Rokoko village, we talked about a tool they used to fend off invading shinobi villages. Just what exactly is this tool that made it so easy to defeat their enemies? Yeah, just what exactly is this tool? Anyway, it has to be pretty powerful for them to believe it's great enough to discontinue their shinobi forces, Sayori said. Anko thought about it for a while as they continued their journey to the village through the trees. I only heard a bit about it since they kept it under wraps quite well. Some explosive power that they used to make even civilians a threat. Rumors only circulated though because those who saw the power in use usually died. Well, there's a reason for these rumors, yes? Obviously someone lived to tell the tale, Naruto said. Correct, Amando, Gaki. I believe it had something to do with the attack on the village that happened during the discussion of making the village into a peaceful 1-inch. The Chunin turned to their leader. There was another attack? Which village? Yakumo asked. Well, many villages attacked them, but AIM was the reoccurring one, and when they were defeated, it was a whole new awakening for the village since their number one enemy had lost the war. Though that's not the attack I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about a tailed beast attack, Anko said, which got Naruto's, and definitely, Kichiro's attention. Tailed beast? He asked in curiosity. A tailed beast attack in a minor village like that? It had to be the work of another major village like Kumo or Iwa. Anko laughed sheepishly. Well, maybe not a tailed beast for sure, but it was something of the sort. There were rumors that the Rokoko village was attacked during the discussion of peace by this nasty-looking beast thing. They used their powder to try and stop the beast, but to no point as the beast was strong. Then all of a sudden the beast disappeared. Like it was some sort of ghost or something? Ghost/ghost. Both Naruto and Kichiro thought in a bit of annoyance but inwardly, a bit worried. They didn't want to head into some sort of ghost-infested village. They did not need to find out the beast was being possessed by a grudge-looking bitch. They didn't want to deal with that. I don't think it was the ghost, Anko-sensei. Maybe it was a summoning? What do you think, Naruto? The now pale-looking Kitsune boy turned to Yakumo and spoke. Beats me. Anko smirked, seeing her student's pale face. Naruto? Are you afraid of ghosts? No, you. The girls all laughed while the blonde was just annoyed. Sayori moved in and kissed his cheek. Don't worry, Naruto-kun. I'll protect you from Casper the kidnapping ghost. Or if it's that scary, I might let your ass get probed by the exorcist. Naruto rolled his eyes. Wow, great. Team 12 rules. Always got my back. AI, he said sarcastically as the team moved on to the village. After about 4 hours of traveling, the team had made it out of the Fire Nations and nearing the Land of Medicine, where the Howling Wolf village resides in, though it was getting dark so the team had decided to set up camp till morning. The team split up their duties to quicken their tasks before nightfall. Anko would catch some fish by a nearby lake. Yakumo would get the firewood, while Naruto and Sayori would set up the tents and fireplace. Naruto took the liberty of releasing Kichiro out of the seal to hunt his own food. He may be a tailed beast, which means he is no longer an ordinary fox and can live forever, but that doesn't mean he doesn't like to do what ordinary foxes do, which is hunt and eat. Whole Naruto created with clones to put up the tents. The real one was watching Sayori bend over and deal with the fireplace. He bit his lip at his girlfriend's figure. Her long yet toned legs, her round but that was just right in his eye view. He knew Sayori had grown over the years, as well as he did, but it was so much for him to take in when he sees her like this, especially with what happened that morning. He could never forget the way she felt when they were making out in bed, and it only makes him think of what it could have felt like had he not been interrupted. Sayori stood up straight, having set up the fireplace, so all she had to do was wait for Yakumo to return with the wood. Naruto smiled as she saw her standing. He made his live on her, walking towards her back, wrapping his arms around her stomach with his face in her neck, getting a good whiff of her. He inhaled deeply while Sayori moaned softly, enjoying the feeling of being in Naruto's warm arms. Beats sitting by a fire any day of the week. He then began to send kisses to her neck, each then began on sucking it lightly, getting her annoyed but in a good way. Stop. They could be back any minute, she said as she let another moan out. Naruto chuckled as he moved his lips to her ear. This is payback for scaring me and zapping me with Chidori this morning. He went back to sucking her neck, giving her good sizable hickeys on her neck. Sayori moaned a little louder as Naruto moved from sucking to licking her neck, all the way to her ear. The Uchiha's hand then moved to Naruto's crotch as she began rubbing it, getting a grunt in pleasure from the Kitsune boy. Not so easy being caressed, is it, Naruto-kun? She thought, though it easily backfired when he grabbed her breasts from behind her. Both of them were getting very turned on by their actions in the woods, but it was soon over when Naruto got that negative feeling. Naruto sighed. Can I ever catch a break to be a horny teenaged boy? He thought before he quickly grabbed Sayori in a bridal style and moved. Once he did, he immediately dodged a small blue cylinder that embedded a tree a few meters behind them. Seconds after, it detonated, creating a huge explosion. Naruto and Sayori went into shinobi mode, the former activating her Sharingan to see her opponents while the latter chose the sensing, getting a feel for their chakra. There's quite a few of them? 10? 15? The two turned their heads to look at each other. Both nodded and jumped away from one another to find the attackers. With Sayori, she headed right, following the trail of blue substance that layered the ground. Her Sharingan wasn't picking up chakra, but the blue powder that was lingering in the air as it was fired off. So as she was tracking it, she then stepped onto the ground where she, unknowingly, walked into a trip line which triggered an explosion. 7 shinobi stepped out of hiding. They all dressed like run-of-the-mill bandits, but their headbands say otherwise. They wore their Howling Wolf ninja headbands, which had the symbols of 4 claw marks on the metal plate, but theirs was slashed, meaning they were rogue. You think that got her? One shinobi asked. I don't know. You, go check. Second one asked. Why the fuck do I have to go? What's the difference between your capability to announce a dead person and mine? The third shinobi asked. The difference is I told you to go. Don't be a bitch. The second shinobi glared at them all. Fuck you. You go see if she's dead. No. You. How about I go see if she's dead? Sayori asked the group. Nobody asked you, slut. The second and third Rouge shinobi yelled, making Sayori raise her hands in mock defense. The rest of the group and eventually the 2 bickering shinobi caught on, and Sayori smirked with her Sharingan active. An Uchiha, one yelled. She's from Konoha, another yelled. 4 of the shinobi charged at the Uchiha, all charging with their kunai. Sayori drew her katana and moved in. Before they even had chance to slice her with their weapons, she sliced them up real good before sheathing her sword. Once she did, they all hit the ground. She moved lightning fast to her other 3 opponents, who were preparing their blue powder. The 2 charged forward, in front of the last one, which was probably the platoon leader, and began shooting out blue stones at her. Sayori dodged them perfectly with her agile-like form. She jumped mid-air to avoid the stone explosives. She saw one of the enemies shoot out another stone at her, but in mid-air, she couldn't dodge it. So she had created lightning clone in front of her to absorb the damage possible, but it didn't blow up once it was hit. So lightning is the trick, huh? She dispelled the clone and charged at them with her katana out. She threw it quickly at the ringleader behind the 2, stabbing him right in his chest and pinned him to the tree. She channeled her lightning chakra in the blade to keep him numb and unable to move. The other 2 were dealt with quite easily after that. One of the shinobi shot their blue stone at her, but Sayori knew now. She charged lightning to her hand to catch the stone and quickly kicked the man in his stomach to make him gasp in pain. Once his mouth was open, Sayori quickly threw the stone in his mouth and toppled over him so she can kick him towards his friend, making them blow up together due to close proximity. Once they were all taken care of, Sayori moved to the last one, who was barely clinging to life as it was with the sword pinning him. The electricity was what was keeping him jolting awake. How did you dash? You shouldn't underestimate an Uchiha, rogue nin. It will. Well, in this case is the death of you. You see, once my lightning clone revealed your attack's weakness, it was easy sailings there. Well, not really, you lot weren't really much of a threat, but knowing your weaknesses made it even easier. Once my clone didn't explode, I realized that lightning must be your attack's weakness since that clone was purely made of it. You all were surely doomed then and there since I so happened to have the affinity for lightning chakra. Sorry, pal, you lose. She grabbed the blade and sent a stronger current of lightning to fry and kill him, leaving her to sigh. "Aw, that was so easy. Please don't tell me that this was all the thugs. Anko might get pissed," she said as she wiped her sword from the blood and sheathed it. She turned her head immediately once she heard ruffling in one of the bushes, but soon, Kichiro popped out with a rabbit in his teeth, all 9 tails swinging happily. "Heya, Sayori. What's cooking good lookin'?" He then saw the cooked shinobi and a sighing Uchiha, along with a pretty destroyed area. "Okay. It looks like you've been attacked and I'm glad you're okay, but I have one question. Can you or can you not cook my rabbit?" Kichiro asked as the dead rabbit was on the ground. Sayori sighed again. "Where are you, Naruto?" Naruto, meanwhile, was just strolling through the forest as if he didn't give a rat's ass about who was going to attack him. He was just chilling. In all actuality, though, Naruto was feeling out for his enemy, using Sage Chakra. Just a tiny bit of nature chakra so he can sense around him. While doing this, he is quite the sensor. He can feel that they're following him. 8 of them, he thought. Interesting. They plan on attacking us in numbers. Judging by their chakra pools, they have no other option. I'm never the one to make the first move, so let's see what they got. Why did I get the boring ones? I bet Sayori got the cool nins with Kekii Genkai, since she has the Sharingan. He sighed. It was hard being an underdog sometimes, especially when said underdog is secretly an alpha wolf waiting for a good challenge, but he shut his mouth and played the waiting game. As Naruto kept walking on the ground, he just sighed, putting his arms behind his head, closing his eyes as he walked. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi dash. He then dodged a blue pebble that impacted the ground in front of him and blew up, though it created a huge smoke screen, covering up what was supposed to be Naruto's body laying there. The 8 Rouge Nins popped out and laughed. "That bastard," that team leader said, so confident in himself that he didn't even think another team was after him. He also left that poor girl to do all the dirty work. "Look alive, boys. We may just have killed one of them and they guys must be giving the girl a warm welcome back there. Let's go introduce our cirque." The Rouge Nins looked at their leader in shock that a root of a tree had smashed itself into their leader's chest. They all looked behind him to see Naruto with his hand raised out and would just stretched out. "Well, how about you welcome me instead?" Naruto said as he then broke off the branch and then slapped his hands together. With style, deep forest emergence. Like that, Naruto had trapped all of them in the wood that emerged from the earth and sucked out their chakra from them, killing them in an instant. Naruto sighed. "It's too easy when you have with style." He then was about to leave, but he then saw the hole in the ground created by the Rouge Nins. He walked up to it and looked down to see nothing but a good sizable crater. "Well, might as well see the weapon of choice," he said as he then willed the tree to pull down one of the Nins to search him. When he did, Naruto found a pile of blue pebbles in the Nin's kunai bag. What are you?" He pulled one out and examined it in his fingers. "So this is what they shot at my ass, huh? This is the exploding weapons. I thought it was powder." Naruto threw at the forest he created, but the pebble just bounced off one of the barks. Nothing happened. He then picked up one of the cylinders on the ground and examined it. He put his mouth on the cylinder and blew on it, getting one of the pebbles that were already in the cylinder to shoot out, nearly hitting Anko, who was running up with the rest of his team, causing it to explode near a tree beside them. Naruto watched them like expression on his face. "Suori," he said with a cute, sheepish smile. Sayori, Yakumo, and Kichiro sighed as they all just let it go, but Anko, on the other hand. She pulled out a kunai and licked it. "This Naruto. This, up your ass. Anko-sensei. I'm sorry. Kichiro, please." "Sorry, soldier. Gotta go it alone," Kichiro said as he sat there and watched Anko beat Naruto's ass. After an hour of that, Anko stopped, leaving Naruto a bruised mess. "Okay. Well, now that's over. Time to gather and regroup." Naruto, meanwhile, was in the ground, bleeding. Sorry. I'm so sorry." Sayori grabbed him and pulled him up. For an uber-powerful Chunin, you can never stop getting beaten by Anko. The group made it to their campsite, while Naruto moved from Sayori and created 4 wood clones. "What are you doing, Naruto?" Yakumo asked. Naruto pulled out 5 seal tags and wrote on them really quick with a paintbrush he had in his pouch before giving 4 to the clones. 1 for each clone and then split up in different directions. The original then placed the tag in the middle of the camp, on a log that was facing Naruto. "I'm placing a barrier. If anyone has any more bright ideas of attacking us, they'll step foot in my barrier. It goes as far as 100 yards from here. Not very far, but it'll do. So sleep tight, everyone, and I'll take the first watch, just so you all know." "I'll be next," Yakumo offered. "Then me," Sayori said. You guys. You all know how much I love to sleep, so you all let me go last. It's good you all know that we'll be dividing our hours, so we'll all have a good rest. Now that we've disclosed that food. Now I may not be the best fisherman, but I did the best I could. Sayori, would you mind with the fire?" The Uchiha girl did a small fire jutsu, while the snake sensei gathered all her fish with the help of Naruto and Yakumo. Kichiro posted with Naruto by the fire, letting the warmth of the fire wash over his sleeping body while the shinobi spoke. So Anko started by staring at her students. "I take it you guys ran into some snags, telling by the explosions." "No, I didn't. I was collecting the firewood lime I was told to. I heard the explosions too, so I came running," Yakumo started. "Me and Sayori did though. We split up and dealt with them. Not much of a threat on my end," Naruto added. "Well, if it wasn't a threat for Naruto, then it surely wasn't even a challenge for me," she said, one-upping her boyfriend, who rolled his eyes in amusement. "Well, like Yakumo, I didn't run into trouble, though I did see a guy watching over me though. I tried tailing him, but he shook me pretty quickly. It helps that they probably know the land better than we do, but still, I'm kinda pissed off." "He was watching you? You didn't see anyone else with him?" Naruto asked, which Anko shook her head no. "Nope. Guy looked like a rogue nin too. I'm getting sloppy." Or old Sayori muttered, which earned her a kunai throw to her skull, which she dodged. "Well, what else is there that you like to share?" Anko asked. Naruto went in his pouch and pulled out pebbles and the blow tube. Yakumo looked at it since she has the best knowledge when it comes to minerals. She grabbed one of the blue pebbles and examined it. "What is it?" she asked. "It was what those douchebags used against us. They explode, so be careful. They may look like something you crush up and snort for the good times, but trust me, they are bad," Naruto said. "Yeah, well, be that as it may, I'll keep a sample. Hopefully when this mission's over, we can possibly discuss a deal with the Wolf Village about us using this powder." "So them having this powder means that they are the Rouge Nins the village has been dealing with?" Yakumo said. "Pretty much, yeah. If this was all the trouble, then guys, trust me. This should have been labeled a C rank." The group sighed. "This blows. I want some action. You know, bite into someone's neck. You know?" "Yeah, we know, Kichiro, me too," Naruto said as he petted his fox. Meanwhile, in the outskirts of the land of medicine, 2 Rouge shinobi were watching Team 12. So they call in backup all of a sudden, and to Konoha no less. "Rikoku has truly become desperate. Should we rally up our troops? Attack now while we're in the dark?" "No. They have powerful members down there. The Uchiha and that blonde boy who wields with style. We'd lose instantly the moment we showed our faces. Be patient and we'll go by our plans carefully." No rush. With that, they continued to watch Team 12 from afar, studying them. 31. The howl before the storm. The next following day for the team, they traveled through most of the day to the Howling Village. It took a while since they had to actually find the village from the locals in the land and ask around for the village location. One local pointed them in the right direction of 3 wolf-shaped mountains that surrounded the land of medicine. In the center of those mountains lies the village. Took a while, but they had finally reached the front gate of the village. It was giant, like Konoha's gate, but this gate here was designed as a wolf's paw, living up to the village's name. Once the team got there, Team 12 casually walked to the gates in hopes of entering, but they were stopped by gate guards. Halt! Name your business here. Anko pulled out the mission scroll and spoke. I am Anko Mitarashi. This is my team sent from Konoha for our mission in protecting your village from outside threats. May we speak with your village leader? One of the gate guards grew annoyed. What? What is Okamikage-sama thinking? We can take care of this problem ourselves. It's totally under control. Naruto took a good look inside the village and saw the damage. From the spot they were at, he can only see a few things, and what he saw wasn't so good. Some establishments were in ruins, and that was a good thing compared to others in his eye view, as other things were just dust. People were in tents and were gravely injured. The town looked a wreck, and it wasn't funny at all. This is it being under control? Jesus. I wonder what it's like when it goes to shit, and we haven't even seen the rest of your village yet, Naruto said before he was nudged by Yakumo's elbow. Hey, we don't need outsiders like you. We've handled our problems by ourselves before. We'll do it again. Really? You'll stake your townspeople's lives on that statement. Naruto started. He's right, you shouldn't be so quick to deny help when you're basically scrapping by as it is, Sayori spoke up. Enough. Frankly, it's not up to you two, and by what position you're in, I doubt they tell you two bozos squat. Now just take us to your leader. They'll decide if our service is required or not, Anko said. The same feisty gate guard moved to argue, but the other gate guard stopped him. Stop, Manmaru. There's no point in arguing when she's right. It's not up to us. Just watch the gate. Follow me. Konoha Shinobi. The man left with the shinobi following him, leaving an ultra-pissed-off gate guard behind. On their way to the Okamikage, following the gate guard, Sayori spoke. What was his deal? Many of the people in the village don't particularly like shinobi all too well, especially outside shinobi considering our history with them. Many people lost families to outside shinobi during our war with AIM. They just don't trust outside or even just general shinobi anymore. Come on. Okamikage-sama should be in his office around this time. While they were slowly making their way through the village, the team got an inside scoop of the village, and it was truly pitiful. It was damn near complete destruction in the village. Buildings were basically rubble, homes were just as bad, with people lying in the streets in tents with food and rations being handed out to the civilians and guards alike. It was like this village was on its last legs, and if they were to be attacked again. Speaking of the village, as the team passed by, the villagers weren't exactly too pleased to see them walking so casually in their village. It may be that they're on edge after the recent attack from the Rouge Shinobi, or the fact that they just hate outsiders altogether, but either way, they were not fucking with the Konoha team whatsoever. As they walked by, villagers were glaring hard at them, almost expecting them to die upon their glance. Warm welcome, huh? Geez, I feel like I personally attacked them myself. Like I pissed in their cereal or something. You're telling me they ain't messing with us, that's for sure. I'm pretty sure the reason why we're not tasting blue powder right now is because of the guard escorting us. Still, I feel kinda bad, them losing their homes, businesses and all. They didn't deserve it, Naruto replied. Hey, Sayori started talking to the guard escorting the team. Why is everyone looking at me so funny? Naruto turned his attention to the villagers one more time, and in fact it was true. While everyone was glaring at the team like he already knew, they all turned to look at Sayori in a type of judgmental way, sort of like disappointment. Oh well, that's something you can talk to the boss about. Well, we're here. The Okamikage's headquarters for now. The team arrived at a huge tent that was as big as a small shack that was gray. It had 2 guards by the gates with swords to them. Naruto looked at them as felt no lick of chakra coming from them. So far, Naruto didn't sense all that much of chakra besides his team in the village, so this was mainly a civilian-ruled village. So basically, if they were giving civilians trouble, they were more than likely genin to low chunin level shinobi with cool toys. Wait here. I'll talk with the leader, the guard said as he headed in the tent, leaving the four outside. I have a feeling this mission will be so boring, Sayori said while Anko agreed. Trust me, when we get back, I'm castrating Minato. Ouch, poor bastard, Naruto thought about the Hokage. Come on guys, the mission hasn't even started yet. We don't know what could potentially happen later on. I agree with Yakumo. I have a strange feeling about this place. Something's not sitting right with me, Naruto said. HM? What isn't sitting right? Sayori asked. Well, if I said something, I wouldn't know what it is, would I? Naruto said, getting a slap in his face. Ow! Why? Don't talk back to me, that's why. Naruto sighed before he received another slap from Sayori. Don't sigh at me either. Don't pick up after Shikamaru because that will only end up bad for you. Naruto moved to sigh again, but when Sayori readied her hand to hit him, he stopped, but he then received another slap from another person. Ow! Why did you hit me? Oh! I thought there was a trend going on and I thought I could join in, Anko said sheepishly, having Naruto glare at her and Yakumo trying to play peacemaker between the two. Easy, Naruto-kun. We're a team. We don't kill each other. Yeah, and Kakashi and Guy aren't secretly lovers. But there's a lie in there. Isn't it? Naruto started and luckily Sayori stopped him just in time for the guard to pop his head out. Okamikage-sama is ready for you. Please enter but be respectful. The Konoha Nins squashed their quarrel immediately and nodded their heads as they quietly entered the tent. When they did so, they saw that inside the tent was mostly books and suitcases, though what was inside them, they didn't know. The village leader was an average-looking man in his 50s, gray shaggy hair and light black-colored eyes. He wore a fancy blue kimono that was styled with a light blue clouds with wolves on them, and wooden Japanese sandals. Ah! The Konoha shinobi I requested. Is it? The fellow team bowed in the leader's invitation. Hello, Okamikage-sama. I am Anko, Jonin, and leader of Team 12. Behind me here are Yakumo, Sayori, and Naruto, all chunin. The village leader smiled. Ah yes, welcome to Rikoku. Though I wish it was under better circumstances, but that's exactly why you're here. Yeah, we noticed from the walk here. How bad was the recent attack? The casualties? Yakumo asked. Too much. Luckily, we only had a few dead and everyone is either fine or injured. Our medicine made some progress, but still, we're low on minerals since the thugs stole most of our supplies and what we have left is being used quickly by the injured here. Don't even get me started on low staff since most of them died in the attack. We will be running out of medicine by the earliest this week and until we schedule for more. I'm afraid we'll have more casualties on our hands. The team frowned at that, seeing as without supplies or enough medics, the civilians' numbers will diminish due to them succumbing to their injuries. Anyway, enough about that, that's not what I requested you all here for. I called Konoha for assistance on dealing with these buffoons. Protect me and my village. Of course, on our lives, we'll ensure that no more harm comes to you or your village, Sayori said. But may we ask Okamikage-sama some more intel? We only know a little about what transpired and we encountered some Nins on our way here, mostly the same thugs who raided your village. Tell us, what really happened that made them leave your village? Naruto asked. The man sighed as he sat up on the ground and urged the group do the same, which they did. Well, you are aware of our village being attacked by a great monster named Roan in our village's early years, right? A dangerous monster that was a hybrid of a wolf and tiger set on eating and sucking our life forces and chakra away to live forever. Ha 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 ha. Sucking out life forces. Whatever this monster was, he sounds pretty gay if you ask me. Oh, hush up, you. Yeah, we know a little about it. In other villages, it was thought of as rumor that maybe something of a tailed beast was roaming the earth, Anko stated. Oh, let me tell you, Anko-san, it was no rumor. It's real, very real. You see, when he emerged every few years to take some more chakra from our village, we had a shinobi to deal with it over the years and each year we'd fail, but finally one year, we achieved our goal in stopping Roan and sealing him away. During those years, we had only civilians under our town, but we did have clans. Two, in fact. One was ninja established clan, though not very famous. They had used chakra, jutsu, etc. They were called the Kodan clan. Then there was the other clan, completely civilian-like, but they were wealthy. These were the Kumonoi clan. These clans basically ruled Rikoku, providing shelter and protection before and after the Ronin attacks, though one clan would emerge in the end. Years and years later, while our village grew, so did our presence and acknowledgement in other villages, which led them to attack, namely AIM. We were losing the battle and AIM was sure to take hold of our country, but a miracle happened. Something came in our possession that really turned the tide to our favor. Let me guess, Naruto said as he dug in his pouch to pull out a blow dart cylinder and blue pebbles. Upon seeing this, the Okamikage widened his eyes. Where did you get that? You know, the Nins we encountered on our way here? They had this on their persons. They shot this at our asses. Though I shot it right back in one of the guy's mouth. Had his brain play the role of Jack in the Box the way his head blown up, Sayori said while Naruto set the tool in front of the village leader. Okamikage looked rather shocked. I'm guessing they stole more than just medicine, am I right? Yakumo asked. This is our village's most sacred weapon. This blue powder is very dangerous. It only takes little moisture, like the warmth of a person's breath, to set this baby off. The Kumonoi clan, my clan, has discovered this powder and used this against our villains in the past to win our war. Once we had this, our clan pushed the idea that we solely become a regular village and we cease using shinobi, seeing as they have become obsolete when we had this weapon. With this powder, anyone can become a threat and can protect themselves against enemies and not just rely on shinobi to make it better, and the civilians alike agreed with it. And the Kodan clan, I'm guessing they didn't agree, Anko said. Of course they didn't. They were a ninja clan, they thrive on being a shinobi. It's their way of life. Once they learned of the village's decision, they didn't like it one bit. Our clans fought for a while, but ultimately my clan won the war, though the Kodan clan unfortunately decided to leave the village. But then, later on in the years, somehow Ronin returned. That threw Team 12 in confusion. Wait, how does a giant monster somehow reappear? Sayori asked. The Kage frowned as he looked down to the ground and the team noticed it. It was look of someone knowing the answer to your question but he trying hard to play like they didn't. They were shinobi, it's hard to lie to them, especially when one of them works for the interrogation unit. I don't know. It just did, but just as it appeared, it disappeared. Soon after that, the village has been quiet since. The team looked at each other before glancing at the Kage. And what do you believe, Okamikage-sama? Yakumo asked. Who, me? Well, off the record, there are rumors going around saying that the leader of the Kodan clan was behind the attack that night. His name was Tenma Kodan. He was a devout and loyal man. He loved his village. He would do anything to protect it. Though once he heard of the plans of discontinuing the shinobi program, he took it really hard and was very supportive of his clan and its shinobi. The rumors say they saw him riding the beast as if he could control him, but those are just rumors and I try to keep it as such, for his kids' sake. Kids? Naruto asked. The Kage sighed. Yes, the man has two. Both boys. One of them who works in a pharmacy, bright boy. The other, well, he's him. The team just turned to Anko. Even Kichiro from the seal looked at her through Naruto's eyes. We know exactly what that's like. They all said. Anko frowned as she noticed they were talking about her. Hey, I'm nice. Really nice. Anyway, so with that info, we'll probably set up a plan in order to hunt down the remaining thugs and place them in jail or kill them, but until then, we'll keep surveillance in the village and me and Yakumo will dash. Actually, Okamikage-sama, I was thinking of lending some assistance to your medical staff. I've received personal training from Lady Tsunade of the Sannin herself. I'm sure I can be of some assistance, Yakumo offered. The Kage widened his eyes. Tsunade? The Tsunade of the Sannin? Yes, the very one. She owes me 100 million yen from our bet. That just made Yakumo deflate while the team just laughed at her. That trickster. When she said she'll pay me up front, she just gave me a back of the head punch and left me in a coma for a week while she skipped town. But she did leave me with a great deal of homemade medicine that helped with the headache I received, so if you're her student, I'll guess you'll do, but I'll have people keep a close eye on you. Yakumo sadly bowed her head while Naruto still snickered. Tsunade's bad gambling rep has painted Yakumo's rep to be a petty trickster too. Well, if that's the case then, me and Naruto will dash. Well, I was thinking of lending a hand with the rebuilding of the village, Okamikage-sama. My architecture skill is not like your traditional housing styles, but it keep you all from sleeping in tents or on the streets for a while if you don't mind. The Okamikage looked at the boy, confused in what he was talking along with the team. What will you do, Naruto-san? It takes a while to build houses from scratch. Naruto smirked. Well, follow me. The group left the tent to see Naruto in front of them with their backs to the tent's entrance. The blonde ran through a few hand seals and slammed his hands together in the end. With style. For pillar house just do. With that chanted, the ground shook as a very simple styled house had emerged from the ground with the kanji on the top of the doors read Okamikage office. It was a simple wood-constructed hut that was as big as a simple house. The Kage and guards looked at the house in awe as it easily dwarfed the tent they had him in, while the team turned to look at Naruto in slight bitterness. You mean to tell us that you could do this the whole time? Yet you had US sleep outside. Naruto shrunk at their heated gazes on him and he chuckled nervously. It was a beautiful night out at the time. I didn't want to spend it inside. I like stars and the smell of trees. I didn't want to stay cooped up inside. Right, Kichiro, buddy? He agrees with me since he's a fox and likes outdoors. The same fox left the seal and jumped behind the girls and by the Kage. I'm sorry, but you have to die on your own. He turned to the Kage, who looked at him like Kichiro was the weirdest thing on the globe. Hey, how you doing? Kichiro spoke. As the females were about to pounce on Naruto to get a group kill, Okamikage spoke. Yes, we need this, desperately need this. We have a medic Nin with great knowledge, and with style user in our grasp. This is incredible. What's next? Are you some kind of Uchiha or something? With the way you look, it's either that or... The leader said, pointing to Sayori. The girl smirked as she turned around to show her crest. Good guess. The leader widened his eyes in awe. The lucky draw he has here. Now he has an Uchiha fighting to protect his village. These rogues are as good as dead now. Wait, you are? Oh, I just thought you were a... Oh, well, it's not important. This is spectacular. Wait, what do you mean by, it's either I'm an Uchiha or what? What is it about me? It's not important. Anyway, Naruto-san, I must ask you to create the essential buildings for us, please. Hospital, school, banks, orphanages. Please. Naruto nodded. Don't worry, I'm on it, and I can do it all at once. He then slapped his hands together and created 10 wood clones to separate in the city to build the village back to its feet. Naruto turned to Yakumo. Come, let's get you to the hospital. I'll build it for you personally. Right, we're off. I guess we'll leave you two to protect the Okamikage. See ya. Yakumo said as Naruto and her ran off, leaving Sayori and Anko with the Okamikage, along with Kichiro, who was in his thoughts about food and Akane, until he noticed that Naruto was gone. Hey, that bitch. He left me. Oh, I am so biting his ankles for this, Kichiro said before taking off. Around the village, Naruto clones were reporting rebuilding the village with shops and homes at a time. It was beginning to look more like a village again. The clones began to go larger and make even taller and bigger homes and establishments based on the requirements of the older stores. They had a help from a few guards considering they saw them rebuilding everything and they were tired of picking leaves from their assholes from sleeping on the grass so much. Chakra wasn't an issue, especially when you're an Uzumaki and a Jinchuriki for 9 tails, the beast with tons of chakra, even for a tailed beast. From restaurants to homes, orphanages, school, banks, and hotels, Naruto basically rebuilt most of the village in under 5 to 10 minutes. They were not like how they were before because these were basically wooden models, but it's easier to add on to something than rebuild it from scratch. The original Naruto was the only one with the task of rebuilding the hospital. He was with Yakumo, who was watching him in amazement. Naruto, you actually rebuilt an entire village. You can make your own village now, she said in awe. Naruto turned to her and smirked. I know, pretty neat, huh? Now when I revolt against Konoha and decide to build my own nation, you'll know whose side to join. Yeah. Wait, huh? Naruto chuckled as he created the hospital building for the village to use. The boy sighed in a bit of exhaustion before he wiped his forehead from sweat. That was a big one. Now that's done. Next challenge is to move all the patients and equipment to the hospital. Don't worry about that too much. I'll ask the guards and the remaining medical staff to help relocate the injured here. Just focus on overseeing the village. Are you sure? Yes, Naruto. Go! Naruto sighed before he could be shooed away even more. He left Yakumo to her devices. She was more than capable to run a hospital all on her own. Naruto just walked down the street with all the civilians looking at him and praising him for all the hard work he did to literally save them from the cold hard streets. Thank you, Naruto-sama. You're our savior, Naruto-sama. Our hero. These types of praise just reminded him of how things are back in Konoha and how everyone was now a kiss-ass to him when just a few moments prior, he was their antichrist. Naruto sighed. He just smiled and took it, though in his head he was definitely cussing them out like a real citizen would do. Boss, we're done with the village. Over. That's great, good work. But don't dispel yet. I'm sorry, boss. I didn't quite catch that. Over. I said don't dispel yet. I have something else for you to do. What did you say, boss? Over. What the? You want me to say over after each sentence? We want you to say what, boss? Over. Fuck off and suck your mother's pussy hairs. You idiot. Over. Oh. Hey, boss, we hear you loud and clear now. Now, we technically have the same mother, so do you mean our mother? Over. Naruto began to grunt in aggravation. You know what? Suck shit and backflip off a cliff. You asshat. Over. Well, boss, that's gonna be a tough order to follow since, we don't shit so. Over. Fuck. Just dispel, disappear. I'm done. If I find any of you clowns in the village, I'm killing you gruesomely by shoving my sword up your asses. H. Over. Naruto cut the link off the clones and then felt them disperse amongst themselves, and he felt them all laughing at his misfortune on the walkie-talkie. He looked around to see a few civilians look at him crazily, but he didn't care. He just knew he was over the clones right now. He needed a break. His plan was to have them scout, but since they were being a bag of dicks mixed with hot sauce, he was left to look for another option. Well, there is always foxes, he thought with a small smirk. With a bite of his thumb with a few hand seals, he slammed his hands on the ground and made a huge screen of smoke. Summoning Jutsu. As the smoke cleared, in front of him was not Luna, Takeo, or Seo, but in a shocking appearance, Erasure, the lightning leader of the Kitsune clan. Naruto looked at the fox in shock. What? Naruto thought in shock. I was summoned? That's strange. Oh look, it's you, Boruto, the gray fox insulted. Naruto frowned. Hey asshole, if I knew I was gonna summon you, I wouldn't have bothered. Look, just go back and I'll try my luck again. Nonsense. I'm here now, so I'll just help you while I'm here. What is it that you want? Naruto looked at him in shock. Erasure sighed. You'll help me? Contrary to my beliefs, you are a member of the Kitsune family now since the test. If the others saw that I refused to lend a hand to you when you were in need, I'm sure Luna-sama might try to kill me. She may not be as proficient in lightning techniques like me, but she's still a force to be reckoned with. Naruto smiled. Right, okay, well I'm on a mission right now and I need you to scout for our enemy's hideout. There was a battle between us and them a day ago. You can retrace my scent back there and follow the enemies sent to their hideout. Correct. Erasure frowned. You mistake me for a mangy mutt, but alas, I did say I'd help. Of course I can. Though I don't know how much of scent will be there after a day. Did it rain at all? No, you're good to go. Erasure nodded as he pelted out of the boys' sightlines. Heading to the battlefield, they left in hopes of finding the enemy's faint chakra trace. Well, now that's settled, where's Kichiro? Naruto began to walk around town, looking for Kichiro through chakra sensing. He and Kichiro are the only ones in this village with Kage-level chakra reserves, so he should be easy to find if he sensed him. Naruto gathered his nature energy and began sensing his companion, and he felt the fox's chakra flare a bit, which means he's being agitated. Naruto ran to the chakra source to see a boy standing in front of Kichiro in a protecting manner against 3 other boys that were all basically elementary school students. The boy protecting him was about 10 years old, or looked like it at least. He was a pale boy with black hair that fell to his neck with onyx eyes. He wore a simple white t-shirt with black and blue shorts with sandals on. The 3 boys just looked like average bullies. Kichiro looked very pissed off since he was growling. It was very unlikely that these boys knew exactly what kind of fox they were trying to mess with. Aw, look at Kinabaka trying to protect the freak of nature. A freak for a freak. Isn't that right, boys? The boy in the middle said. Yeah, right, Kenshiro. They both are freaks. The boys agreed, having no mind of their own except the little piece inside their noggin to tell them to do whatever Kenshiro said. Well, I'm pretty sure we know what we do to freaks around here, don't we, boys? Do you know Kinabaka? Kina glared at him. Just leave us the hell alone, bastards. We kick them in the balls. With that, Kenshiro moved to kick Kina's nutsack, but Naruto body flickered in front of the kick and caught the boy's foot and made him do a backflip. Ragdoll version. Kenshiro landed on his butt while the bully's friends looked shocked. I'm sorry. What was it that you do to freaks around here? Naruto asked with his eyes red with his pupils slitted. The look was incredibly terrifying to the boys as the leader Kenshiro definitely wet himself. NN nothing. W we don't do anything. Runnin'. Boys began fleeing away from the area and leaving Naruto, Kina and Kichiro alone. Jackasses, both Naruto and Kina said while Kichiro ran out to shout. Yeah, you fuckers better run. If I see you on the streets, it's on sight. You hear? I'll bite off your balls, stick them to your chins and make you look like Peter Griffin's offspring. Kina looked at Kichiro with shocked eyes. Why you can talk? Kichiro looked back at the boy and smiled. Oh yeah, I can. No, you're not on drugs or in a drug-induced coma, and yes, I'm real. I was gonna handle those goons myself until you stepped in, but thanks anyway. Kid, Kichiro said as he moved to Naruto. And you! Kichiro jumped up to bite Naruto's face, but Naruto caught him. You son of a bitch. You dirty, lousy, no good, ball-sucking, knob-gobbling, sperm-licking, asshole-bleaching, anal-taking bastard. Naruto flinched as he didn't think Kichiro would be that mad. Ouch, that actually kinda stung, buddy. I didn't mean to leave you. I just left and I thought you were behind me. Whatever. You're getting the silent treatment. With that, Kichiro jumped back into the deal, in silence, leaving an annoyed Naruto. He's so melodramatic. He turned his head to still see the stunned boy. Listen, thank you for watching my Princess Kichiro while I couldn't. If you didn't interfere, he probably would have made a mess out of this. He can be really dramatic when he wants to be, especially when someone tries his patience. It's no problem. I hate it when people pick on animals. Besides, it either they were gonna pick on me now or pick on me later, so I sacrificed my later for a now. My name is Kina Kodan. The boy shot his hand out to shake it while Naruto took it and smiled his foxy smile. Name's Naruto KITSUNE-. The cunt licker. The one who is gonna come in there and beat your furry little ass, as my father used to say, munch me bitch. Naruto sighed to get rid of the stress he was dealing with from this fox. Wait, you're the Naruto everyone was talking about. You basically rebuilt the village as soon as you got here. Naruto laughed sheepishly. Well, I guess word travels fast around here. Well, I saw you. You built back my brother's pharmacy, and the school, FYI, should have left the last one stay gone. The blonde laughed. Sorry, my bad. Now, about those bullies? Why are they picking on you? Kina frowned. I don't know. They all are just bullying B for no reason. They all say I'm a freak or a monster, but I don't know why. It's not just them. It's the entire village besides the Okamikage and my brother, Reisher. They all call me monster. I just want to know why they all hate me so much and I want them to stop it. Naruto frowned as he looked at Kina and saw himself when he was around that age or younger. It was like Kina was like him, a freak in the eyes of the village and was receiving the scorn of his village. The only difference was that Kina had people to turn to while Naruto didn't. Bitch. I was there, remember? Being all cute and shit. I was right there on your shoulder through it all. I mean, before you. Before Kurama, it was some tough years without you guys. It was only a little while till Kurama announced himself to me, and then I met you, you furry prick. Naruto sucked as he put his hand on Kina's shoulder and smiled sadly. Yeah, I know what it's like, to be outcast for something that's not in your control. Really? Kina said in shock. He thought someone like Naruto would be so popular with everyone considering the stuff he can do, but to hear he was being treated like a loser and a monster? It was unbelievable. Yeah, believe it or not. I was around your age when I decided to not give a flying fuck anymore and just do something about it. To stop just hating myself but to hate other people for hating me. So you're saying hate everyone? Kina said. No, I'm saying fuck the haters and chase your bag, your dream. Don't let nobody stop you from being you, that's how you deal with the haters and bullies. And if that doesn't work, then just fuck 'em like Naruto did with Seo Dash. Anyway, be the best you. What do you want to be? Kina blushed and looked at the ground. I want to become a shinobi. Oh shit. So who's gonna tell him? Me or you? Kichiro said. Oh. Well, I mean, not a bad dream, but you do know that shinobi aren't really supported in this village or maybe even this country, especially after all that's happened. I know I want to grow up and train so I can one day leave the village and be a wandering shinobi. Make my own rules, save the damsel in distress type of shinobi, that what I want to be. Like you. Naruto smiled. The boy wants to explore. He didn't find anything wrong with that. It's a little kid answer, so he didn't want to shatter his dreams. Well, alright. Maybe I'll help you start off in the right direction, Naruto said while Kina smiled. Really? Yeah, sure, after all, I am possibility the most strongest shinobi you'll ever encounter and I'll offer you training. Not right now though, since it's getting pretty late now, but maybe if you find me tomorrow, I'll teach you a thing or two about being a shinobi. But let me tell you something. If you find me, you have to land a hit on me. Use any means necessary to do it. Kina frowned. Hit you? Why? I'm a powerful person, Kina-san. I don't just waste my time for anyone. Prove to me you can do it and I'll train you. Kina frowned, but he nodded. Right? I will. Say, can you walk me home? I think those bullies might be lurking. Naruto smiled. Sure. My job here is to protect you guys, so let's go. Kina smiled as they began to walk. As they were walking, Kichiro spoke. Looks like the rumors are full of shit. Kid's decent, besides, the way that Kage was talking was fishy. I think there's something going on here, don't you agree? Damn right I do. His story just left me with an uneasy feeling, and you remember how he tried to hide the Tenma Kodan part. We now know the man is the boy's father, but why hide it? Was what Tenma did true? If it wasn't, why hide it? It's very fishy indeed, but let's not dwell on it right now. There was silence the rest of the way to Kina's house as the two didn't really speak to one another. Mostly Naruto trying to figure out the Okamage's reasons for the secrecy around Kina and Tenma, while Kina himself was too busy thinking of ways to beat Naruto tomorrow. Kina suddenly stopped in front of the pharmacy that Naruto had rebuilt earlier. Here, I live here. Come and meet my brother, Kina said as he grabbed Naruto's hands to pull him in the pharmacy. And there was a tall man, mostly in his 20s. He had long black hair that reached his back while also sporting green eyes. He wore a long white trench coat with purple button-up shirt with blue jeans with some business shoes. Looking quite spiffy in Kichiro's words. The man turned his head to see Kina and Naruto walk in his shop and he smiled. Well, there you are, Kina-kun. I was worried about you. You know what happens when you're out late. Kina nodded his head with a sad smile. Why do you think I came with backup to come home when the street lights came on? Raisher, this is Dash. Naruto Kitsune. The man with a plan that we citizen of Rikoku have heard so greatly about. Well, I was just telling Kina here that word travels fast around here. Hello? I would say who I am, but I'm pretty sure you know already. Ha ha ha, I guess so. I'm Raisher Kodan. As you know, I run this pharmacy and the older brother to this little guy. Raisher said as he ruffled Kina's hair. Naruto smiled. Yeah, this guy saved my little friend earlier, so I figured I would do him a little favor and drop him home. Yeah, you're with that Konoha team, right? Any word on those Rouges yet? I'd feel a lot better if those bastards that wrecked my village were caught and trialed. Naruto shook his head. Well, not at the moment, but we'll receive word on them soon since I sent a fox to trace their steps, so until then, we're just waiting. If they decide to attack the village again, we're here to they're not in a good position right now. Reshi nodded silently as he looked at Kina. Well, whenever you find them, I'm sure Naruto will kick their asses. Hey, watch your mouth. Anyways, go wash up for dinner. Naruto-san, would you like to join us? Thanks, but no thanks. I should probably get back to my team. Nice to meet you both. I'll be on my way. Well, if you're sure, let me lock up after you. As Naruto was walked out by Reisher, someone came to the shop. Oh, sorry, Wiro Manmaru-san. You're a little late for your prescription, Reisher said. Manmaru turned to Naruto and glared at him while Naruto just waved his hand. Yeah, the Konoha scum is leaving, you prick. Catch you later, Reishi-san. With that, Naruto left while Reisher waved him goodbye before taking Manmaru to the back to get his prescription medication while Kina sneakily ran behind the counter, opened a drawer and pulled out 3 packs of blue pebbles from the drawer quickly before he was spotted. This is the only way to beat you, Naruto, but I promise you, I'll beat your challenge. The next day, Naruto informed his team of the plan he set in stone, which they thought was genius. They decided that since they still needed to protect the village, they can divide their team power so 3 would be enough to trail the team hideout, so the ones who would be able to go is Naruto, Sayori and Anko, while Yakumo will stay in the village and protect it while she is still healing the sick and injured. As things were going now, Naruto was walking Yakumo to the hospital again, since he was on village patrol while Sayori and Anko were still guarding the Okamikage. As the two were making some small talk as they walked, talking about the patient's fast recovery thanks to Yakumo and the village's quality of medicine she had to work with, Naruto and Yakumo felt a presence following them around, but only Naruto knew who it was and told Yakumo not to worry as they kept their pace to the hospital. Naruto dropped her off and made his way to the more outer parts of the village where no one was really at, where the village left its rebuilding supplies. Naruto patted the stack of wood and then sat on it with an amused smile on his face and his eyes closed. After a few minutes of chilling on the wood stacks, Naruto jumped to the side, avoiding a kick to the head. Naruto opened his eyes to see his attacker standing in front of him. Kina stood tall and proud while Naruto watched him blankly. That kick was slow and weak-looking. Even if it connected, I swear a pillow would knock me out harder than your attack. Kina frowned from the taunt, charging in to fight Naruto like the latter knew he would. Kina sent brawler-like attacks and Naruto didn't even bother to raise his arms to block. He just simply dodged with his hands in his pockets. He sent punches where he put his whole body into the swings, which made Naruto predict his every move easily. Naruto began to then teach him that every move in battle is costly, even if the move that was executed was successful. Naruto went on defense and counter moves now. Kina sent a wide left hook to Naruto, but said Blonde just grabbed him and threw him in the wood stacks. The power shook the 10-year-old, but he got up for more, but Naruto kept sending him down again and again. After a few more attempts, Kina got tossed for the last time before he brought out his secret weapon. He pulled out the blow dart cylinder and shot out 3 pebbles. Naruto widened his eyes as he saw pebbles he's shooting out. What the hell? Naruto thought as he stomped his food on the ground to create multiple hands made of wood to block the pebbles that rushed out at him. Kina widened his eyes before shooting more of the explosive pebbles. The pebbles kept destroying the trees in his path while Naruto just flexed his chakra just a tad bit to increase the intensity of the growing trees to overwhelm Kina. The trees grabbed the boy easily, securing Naruto's inevitable win. Well, that was, boring. Naruto saw Kina begin to struggle heavily. Well, considering you're a civilian kid, you did alright, kid. You at least made me use my wood-style defense, but there was no way you were gonna actually dash. Naruto? I'm sensing a lot of negative energy coming off of him, and the chakra is off the charts. Kichiro said, weary of the boy, which heavily concerned Naruto. Kina? Buddy, are you alright? The boy was slashing around in the wood confinements and it just got more crazy. His voice began to go deep while his body began to change. His fingers began to grow claws and more animalistic while his canine teeth began to grow sharper with his eyes became more feral. His irises was what got to Naruto. His right eye was blue now and his left eye was yellow and both pupils were slitted. The most notable was his chakra that Naruto never even felt in him, began to rise. Soon, he exploded out the wood confinements and the chakra was so thick that it sent Naruto back a bit from the surprise burst. What the fuck? He cussed as he saw Kina turn into this beast of a boy. The boy looked absolutely nuts. He was hunched over and his body was emitting power. Kina charged at Naruto with a blinding speed that Naruto had grown accustomed to, countering with a body flicker to avoid the attack. Kina slammed into the construction wood stacks and destroyed them on impact. Naruto was left confused as hell. The massive amount of chakra, the nasty transformation, the crazy power. There's only one type of thing that can grant those to a person. Well, two if you count Orochimaru's sex slave Mark, the blonde thought as he looked at the enraged Kina. Kina charged at him at a fast pace and sent a punch to Naruto, but the blonde caught with Kichiro's chakra encasing his fist for protection. The power of the blow left a crater on the ground from the impact, but that didn't slow Naruto down in the least as he prepared his next move. He did some one-handed seals, and when he stopped, kanji appeared on his fingers before slamming his fingers in the boy's stomach. 5 elemental seal. Naruto shouted as the seal blocked the chakra flow in Kina and it knocked his little ass out. Naruto caught him. Ha! I swear. It pays to know Fuinjutsu. Minato was right. I know. That was short but really tense. So this kid is a Jinchuriki, huh? Thinking it's that Roan thing, huh? Has to be. That's the only one that makes sense as of now. I knew the story of the Okamikage didn't make much sense. He left out that the boy was made a Jinchuriki out of the last attack of the beast. If this was his son, then Tenma most likely was the person who attacked the village that night, because who would really have the balls to seal a beast inside a shinobi leader's son without the man's approval? I guess. They must have not told him about it and let him live his life in bliss, though basically everyone in the village has an idea of why they hate him. Whether it was for his father or the beast, who knows, seems it mixed. What do we do now? Naruto thought for a minute as he looked at the sleeping boy. The best I can do is this. Leave the seal on him since it'll disrupt the chakra in him, which won't allow the beast to take over. This'll block any interference of the beast, so he should be fine. For now and until I see it as necessary, I'll keep this to myself, Kina. I'll do anything to make sure he can hold on to this innocent life for as long as he can, because this life as a Jinchuriki blows. Yeah. Well, fuck you too. Not your part goofy. Just how people treats you. It's bad enough he's hated. He doesn't need to hate himself too. With that, he just sat there with the newfound Jinchuriki boy as the day went by. As the moon came up hours later, Kina woke up right beside Naruto with a slight headache. Ow, what happened? Well, you slept well. Kina looked up to see Naruto smiling down on him with a couple of bentos he got from town. Here, have some. Food will help with your head a bit. Kina didn't even waste time as he started munching on the food. To answer your question about what happened, I beat the snot out of you. You had no chance, but was literally murder. I almost killed you, but I didn't because I'm nice with my techniques, but you did alright I guess, so maybe I'll teach you a jutsu. Kina looked at him with shock. Really? But I lost. But you did surprise me. Really. As a civilian, a kid civilian no less, you actually have some semblance of skills. You might be a prodigy in the arts of a ninja, though it won't be easy. I'll teach you all I can while I am here, so gear up. Kina smiled greatly as he hugged Naruto tightly. Kina then jumped up off the bench and shouted. Alright, step 1 to training is. Geez, this kid's hyper. He's like a human version of you. Well, the kid is cute and sweet, innocent and lovable, so I can see the comparison. I'm loved by those who know me and just hated on by everyone who doesn't understand me. I mean, I guess that part is you, but I also share that. And besides, you're not cute. You're ugly. Just like your father. Step 1 in training is study. Tomorrow, I want you to find a way to channel your chakra. You have to the end of this week to unlock your chakra. Kina widened his eyes. End of the week? Today's Wednesday? Naruto shook his head in an uncaring way. True shinobi do more with less. If you can't do it in 3 days, you fail, and if you fail training. What? But I don't know how chakra works. Read a book. 'Cause I'm not going to tell you. That would be too easy, and a shinobi life is never easy. Get to it if you want to impress me. Kina frantically jumped off the stack of construction wood to head to the nearest library to find a book of chakra in what's left of the surviving books. Well, aren't you a penis hole? You could have gave a few pointers. I'm teaching him the way Takeo-sensei taught us, just a little harsher. This kid is basically trying to head into the shinobi life all alone. No one watching out for him. He needs to have a smart head in order to survive out here, otherwise he won't make it, especially when I'm just giving him the littlest of pointers. The kid's smart. He'll figure it out. For now, though, I'm going to sleep. Cute kid, a voice said. Naruto stopped in his tracks and turned his head to see Sayori standing there with a soft smile on her face. Yeah, poor brat has been dealt with a hard hand in life. No one likes him. Damn near no family besides his brother. He wants to be the best shinobi out there, though, so the kid has goals going for him at least. Sayori hopped on the stack of wood to sit beside him. Sounds just like a person I know. Naruto laughed a bit as he lied down, his head on Sayori's lap with her hands playing in his blonde locks. Yeah, I guess so. I decided to train him a little bit. Help him get started. Don't let Anko-sensei hear you have a student. She may start calling herself a Ankoba-chan sensei. She joked with Naruto laughing. Yeah, I can't live with that. So the Okamikage let you off. Anko-sensei did. She could tell I was getting bored and irritated watching a grown-ass man look himself in the mirror and kiss at himself. What a fag dash. Not a good word. Naruto stopped her. So you stopped to see little ol' me? I'm flattered. Yes, I did, you idiot. Let's just watch the stars. Don't make me regret seeing you, she said. Oh, cut the act. Sayori-chan. You love me. That only made the Uchiha girl blush like crazy, as it was proof of her feelings. Why you idiot, she said as she tilted his head back and kissed him while the moon had shined on them. The following days after that were rather peaceful. The team had again done their share tasks of watching over the village after the few days, but at the end of the week things were shaken up a bit. Naruto was currently doing his rounds on the village again, waiting for Kina to show, happily chomping down some good barbecue from a stand a little ways into town. Aha! Found you, Naruto-sensei. Naruto turned around with beef on his mouth to see Kina standing there with a smug yet tired look on his face. Naruto swallowed his food before making his way to the boy. As each step to the boy, he can feel the boy's chakra was stronger. So you did it? You unlocked your chakra. Kina frowned. Wah! How'd you know? I didn't even show you. Naruto laughed as he ruffled his head. I'm somewhat of a sensor. I can feel that your chakra had grown stronger and began to flow all through your body, which means you have full access to it now, though it looks like you just figured it out considering you look like crap. You exerted way too much. You could have died doing that, you know. Which, in my opinion, would have been all your fault. Which means you can shut up. Well, you're right, Naruto-sensei. Took me way longer than it should have. I had to find a book in the library about chakra and spend a whole day reading and understanding it. I spent 2 days practicing up until now. So 3 days and multiple underwear changes later, and I'm a master chakra user. Naruto raised his eyebrow. Multiple underwear changes? What do you dash? That was when it hit him as he saw Kina's embarrassed, blushing face. I guess I pushed a little too hard sometimes. He. Naruto chuckled a bit. Well, it's not all his doing. That seal eye out on him did interfere with his own chakra, so it's understandable why he had to go extra hard. So what's next dash? Naruto. The blonde turned his head to see Sayori, Anko and Yakumo along with Erasure. It's time, Anko shouted. Naruto turned serious as he saw the gray fox. He moved to the team and looked down on the fox. So what did you find? Well, you were right. I was able to trace the hideout by retracing your steps. I found out where they were. I can take you to them. Great. Let's get going. Naruto said about to march off, but Anko put a hand on his shoulder to stop him. Change of plans, Naruto-kun. You stay here. Me and Sayori-chan are gonna handle this. Naruto frowned. What? But I can help. Trust me. I know you can, but something is rubbing me the wrong way here. It doesn't feel right. I need 2 of us here, and you can cover more ground with your clones better than any of us can. The best choice is for you and Yakumo-chan to defend the village. Me and Sayori-chan are more than enough to wipe out a few wannabe ninja. You're more useful here. Naruto sighed. Enko did pose a good point. Fine. Beat some ass for me. Will ya? Sayori kissed his cheek. Of course. Maybe I'll do it better than you. That's a big cap, Naruto said as the three kept off in speeds. Naruto sighed while Yakumo put a hand on his shoulder. She'll be fine, don't worry. No, it's not that. Sayori is an Uchiha. She's strong. But I want to beat ass too. He whined as Yakumo sighed in slight annoyance. Kina jumped in the conversation, having been quiet the whole time. Well, Naruto-sensei, now you have more time to train me. So what's the next step? Naruto sighed. I suppose so. The Kurama clan member smirked. Naruto-sensei? She repeated, which made Naruto chuckle. What? It has a nice ring to it. Everyone should be calling me sensei and be begging me to teach them. I'm a powerful shinobi. Don't be a hating hatrick. Yakumo. Support ya boi. Yakumo sighed. Fine, Naruto-sensei. Well, I'm pretty sure I have the next hour off as a break, so I can help you too, little boy. Kina smiled. Would you? That would be awesome. So far, Naruto-sensei left me to my own devices. He made me activate my chakra by myself. Yakumo smiled as she turned to Naruto, who began to sweat. Oh, did he? Well, that's good. Naruto's sweat began to pour. He knows Yakumo is crossed with him. If he was going to teach someone, he had to do it right. Doing an action such as chakra unlocking can be a dangerous process that needs to be supervised. If something goes wrong, like if Kina decided to channel all his chakra, he might have died. Naruto knew exactly what he was doing though. He didn't abandon the kid to his own devices. He was planning on helping him with chakra control, so he wasn't going to leave him all alone. Well, anyway, let's talk about chakra control, Kina-kun, Naruto said, changing the subject as he felt Yakumo's hot glare on his body. Oh, the book I read said something about that. It's about controlling the amount of chakra I let out, right? As to do just without draining my reserves. Naruto smirked. Yes, exactly. Let's start with… Oh, this? Naruto pulled his hand out to grow a small tree in his palm with a few leaves on it. He plucked one out and put it on Kina's forehead. Put chakra on your forehead where your leaf is to make it stick. If it falls, you're not doing it right. It's all about concentration. And this time, we'll be here to help you. Right, Naruto-sensei? Naruto chuckled and nodded. Kina smiled as he grabbed channeled chakra to his forehead and began to practice. It was taking quite a while to work for him, but for a 10-year-old, he was doing surprisingly well considering he has just unlocked his chakra. He has an abundance of chakra and has a chakra disruption seal on his body, but once he had it down packed. I did it, Kina said, getting Yakumo to praise him and Naruto to smile. Great job, Kina-kun. Excellent. Now, onto something even harder, work on kunai balancing. Do that and we're done for the day. Isn't that bit much? Yakumo asked, but Naruto shook his head. Nah, kid's a genius anyway, so you do this. Naruto pulled out a kunai, mostly a dull one. He put the blunt part of the weapon on his palm and sent chakra to his hand to make the kunai balance. See, it's all about making the kunai stand on its own and making it stay on your hand. Too little chakra, it'll fall in your hand. Too much and your kunai goes soaring in the air. Try it. Kina nodded his head as he grabbed the kunai from Naruto. Yakumo frowned. I still feel he should learn tree walking first. Nah, he got it. Kunai balancing is just the same as tree walking. Kina had the kunai in his hand as if slowly began to rise to stand. The boy was struggling heavily, but a loud boom made the kunai from its angle shoot out directly in between Naruto and Yakumo and into a tree. Teachers eyed each other while Kina was surprised. Sorry, the boy said. Naruto frowned. Kichiro. I sense negative emotions all around the village. At each side, it's an attack. The Rouges must be invading. I can smell the blue powder stuff from here. Naruto turned to grabbing Kina, who got the kunai out the tree, and pushed him to Yakumo. Yakumo, we're under attack. Get to the hospital and protect the patients. Take Kina with you. I'll protect the village. Crush anyone who gets in your way. On it! Yakumo grabbed Kina and jumped off to head to the hospital as fast as possible while Naruto cracked his fists and flexed his chakra. Let's get started.